Sean Callahan, Robin Washett, Steve Sipple, as it was a huge night for Nebraska basketball on Tuesday. Fred Hoiberg's squad moves to 3-1 now in the month of February, winning at Rutgers 82-72, a place, Jimmy John's Arena, Jersey Mike's Arena. Jersey Mike's. I just got totally canceled by the sponsors there. Jersey Mike's Arena, 82-72. Robin, I saw your prediction, and you kind of had the I'll see it when I believe it. You didn't pick Nebraska. You picked.
I had them covering. I had them losing by 13 on a 13.5-point spread. So don't say I didn't believe.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I thought you would have hedged it and maybe made it like 6. But Rutgers is tough at home. I agree.
So there's a list of reasons why I wasn't nearly as confident as our own Steven Sipple. For one, they hadn't won back-to-back games since beating Queens and Iowa before and after Christmas break. So there's a long run of inconsistency. 2, they've struggled on the road, struggled mightily, especially in recent games. 3, they are a team that is now dependent on offense, playing against the best defensive team, not only in the Big Ten, but in one of the best in the country. Oh. And after that, they were 14-point, and I think it closed as 14-point dogs. So there were very few people in Vegas that thought they had a chance. So that's what made that performance so stunning. Not the fact that they won the game, but the manner in which they did it. The fact that they went and scored 82 points, shot almost 60% from the field, tied their season high 3-pointers at a 40% plus clip, and just did things to Rutgers that teams don't go to the rack and do to Rutgers. Like that was, reading some of the tweets from Rutgers beat writers, New Jersey media, they were, talk about stunned. They were more stunned than anybody. They didn't think that was even remotely close to having a chance of happening. And Nebraska went in there and literally imposed their will offensively. Yeah, they hit some tough shots, but they also created a lot of good looks. They hit their threes, which opened up everything underneath, and they were able to shoot 74% inside of the arc. So, I mean, again, the recipe that they used was a script that hardly ever happens at or against Rutgers, especially at home. So, I know that the winning is certainly a surprise, but the manner in which they did it was the most surprising for me.
Well, they got hot. Now, what's happened is Keisei Tominaga has changed the discussion for Nebraska. Now that's 4 straight games of 20 plus. He's real.
Double figures in 9 of his last 10.
Yeah, he's not. This is no more a gimmick thing. He's become one of the Big Ten's better scorers. I don't mind saying he is.
He leads the conference in scoring over the last 4 games.
Yeah, he's
going into Wednesday.
Yeah, he's not going away either. He doesn't, and it's not just that he gets hot from the outside and buries some threes. It's not that anymore. He takes it off the dribble to the hoop. He moves without the ball, makes those back cuts. He's a pain now, and that helps those other guys. It helps Derek Walker and Sam Griesel a lot.
Look at the other night. I mean, he didn't start hot. He missed his first 3 shots and didn't score until just over 6 minutes left in the first half. But you know how he scored? He took it to the rim, and I think that part of it is the biggest difference with Keisei, to where he's not just the jack up 8 3-pointers, and that's all he's going to bring offensively. He's getting to the hoop, and he's scoring inside of the arc more than certainly he ever has at Nebraska. And that 2-part dimension of his game has really, I think, allowed him to take off to where teams, if they close out aggressively on him, he's going to pump fake and take it straight to the rim. And because you have him now as a legitimate threat, and if you can pair that with a CJ Wilcher, whoever, that allows Nebraska to be one of the most efficient teams at the rim in the conference. And so, with the way that they've had to transition from being a defensive-oriented team that is just trying to do just enough on offense, when they had Bandamel and Gary, when those 2 guys went out, they were forced to flip the script and become an offensive-driven team. Keisei Tominaga is at the forefront of that move, but because of his success, it's allowed Derek Walker to be more, I won't say efficient because he's still turning over the ball a lot, but he's scoring He's scoring at a much more efficient level. Sam Griesel has really been able to dictate the pace and keep things under control. And then again, when you get that next guy, whether it's CJ or Sam Hoiberg or whoever that can be that next scorer, that's a compliment that Nebraska hasn't had on offense really in a long time when it comes to having that many people factoring into their success.
Here's a question. What if Bandamel doesn't get hurt? If Gary doesn't get hurt, is Tominaga even getting these minutes?
I don't think so.
Great question.
I don't think so.
That's a fascinating thing.
No, because they were playing him that much out of necessity.
Right.
And now that he's been able to produce, like, he's obviously earned those minutes, but I mean, he wasn't playing those types of minutes.
And I would
because
say,
that wasn't what the style they were trying to play. Like, he
Right.
can't defend at the level in which they were needing to defend to win games.
But Casey, now one thing we don't necessarily, we're not aligned on, Rob. I still think they play good defense.
They
K-
do,
Casey,
but
is-
not nearly what they were doing earlier.
No,
They were one of the
no.
better defensive teams in the conference for a while.
But Bruce Weber was very complimentary last night of Nebraska's defense. I still think they play very good defense. I'd say very good defense. They still now
Close
you
out.
could say, oh, Michigan rattled them. I mean, Michigan got after them offensively, shot a big percentage. I don't know though. I still see a lot of effort. And Rutgers, the reason I thought Nebraska could win the game is because Rutgers is a bad offense. I mean, they do not.
They're bullies,
They're an
though.
elite defense,
Bad
below average to bad offense.
Yeah, and Nebraska plays pretty good defense. And if Nebraska, I thought, could put pressure on them and be up double digits with 10 to go, it's going to be really hard for Rutgers to overcome that. And that's what happened.
Well, and the difference too was turnovers. You know, that Rutgers was doing what Rutgers does. They were forcing a bunch. They had forced 8 turnovers in the first half, but they only converted that to 5 points.
Well,
And so they weren't able to take advantage of Nebraska's mistakes. They allowed Nebraska to hang around, and then their offense, when K-State started getting going, everything started clicking for them.
We're talking Nebraska basketball here with Robin Washett on the Husker Online Show. And Robin, this sets the stage now. You got 3 coveted weekend afternoon home games in a row here. Nebraska's home Sunday, then Saturday, and then Sunday. Is it 3?
Sunday the 19th, Saturday the 25th, and Tuesday the 28th.
Oh, yeah, they have the game against Michigan State. I'm sorry. Then the Iowa game is a road game, but they're home for 3 in a row. I mean, we're going to see record 2013 type crowds down here at the arena.
2 straight weekend home games,
it'll
Big
be
Ten home games.
Big
Games where people that live in other parts of the state can easily get here and get home. I mean, this is set up. Like, let me tell you guys, this game on Saturday when we were here, when they won against Wisconsin, I have never seen the traffic so bad leaving the arena in years.
Really?
Like, usually we get home in 15 minutes after a game. It took us over 45 minutes to get out of
The
there.
people are hungry.
I know.
This is a hungry fan.
I've been
base.
waiting for something like this.
Yeah, hungry.
Meaningful February basketball.
Right.
I mean,
They're hungry. And the other part of it is they like the team. It's a likable team.
absolutely.
Really likable. I mean,
Keisei is as likable of a player. Like, can you in Japan? How much buzz is this getting? Are you able to
Huge.
like?
He's
Is
a huge, he's a huge deal.
Can
in
you pick
Japan.
up on anything that's going on over there with him? Like,
Yeah, and look at every time I tweet about him, I get a bunch of Japanese characters like quote tweeting me. You know, like I don't know what they mean, but I'm getting.
you should look into some like Japanese language stuff.
Well, Twitter does have a translation. It's very loosely translated, but
You could market yourself to Japan.
I know. I'll bet you I get retweeted in Japan more than any Nebraska.
You might be
media.
sort of a star over there. Actually.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, probably. But like, okay, so Casey, obviously, huge fan favorite. Sam Griesel, the hometown hero. You know, the guy that came back to
Sam
Lincoln.
Hoiberg.
Sam Hoiberg,
Hoiberg.
Lincoln Pius guy, coach's son. Derek Walker,
Yeah.
the guy that has been here since day one, that has developed and been the anchor
Downhill
for this
Derek.
team. I mean, and then young guys like, you know, Jamarcus Lawrence, like he's like, you want to look for reasons to get excited about
Oh,
the
yeah.
future, like guy like that. So I mean, go down the list.
Yeah.
They got guys you can cheer for, and that
They
was to Fred's credit. That was one of the things he said. Fans are going to like this team.
Yep, he was right.
And now the best part is they're not just a bunch of likable guys. They're playing well, and they're giving fans a reason to get excited and cheer for them on the court, and producing signature victories that they haven't had in a long time. To where a month ago, if I would have told you that we're talking about paths for Nebraska to make the NIT or maybe even the NCAA tournament, probably would have laughed in my face.
I
Well,
would've.
here they are.
I would have.
You would have.
But I'll tell you, and I look at it through the eyes of an opposing coach. That's how I've been looking at this team in the last 2 weeks. They're tough. They're tough to defend. I mean, with Casey going, now it gets real.
Absolutely. He changes everything. He's
Yeah.
arguably the most difficult half court defensive assignment in the conference.
Right. Okay. Then
Because when he crosses half court, he's a threat to shoot.
right, and he's fascinating because he moves all the time and
Mhm.
he cramps up. They have to have a jug of water.
But then you have one of the best facilitating bigs in the conference in Derek
Right.
Walker.
who can get to the basket.
You've got a 6'7", 215-pound point guard.
and then
I mean,
when
like
Wilcher, like last night or at Rutgers,
he's an X factor.
Wilcher goes off.
X
It's
factor.
like, well, now what do you do?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, now you're in a
That's how you go to Rutgers and drop 82.
yeah. Now you're in a defensive quandary with 4 or 5 guys going.
See if they can keep it going.
Yeah, we the roster politics of a year ago too. Like the fact that Casey couldn't even really get on the court, and that team was far
I mean, he
worse.
started games last year.
But this wasn't a fact. I mean, they had multiple pros on their roster last year,
Mhm.
whether overseas or
Mhm.
NBA.
They did.
They did.
And this team, I don't know if you can necessarily say they have
It's different.
different, and they're better. Like it just,
It is. They're
and
better.
people like it better.
Yeah.
Like I think, like look, we tried doing the McGowns thing, and they're great. We love the McGowns, but this type of style seems to fit the fan base,
Yeah.
the state better right now.
I mean, like a guy like Trey would have fit with this mold, I think.
I think Bryce would fit. I mean, so I don't like that. Do that to those guys. Those guys got good late too. Keep in mind that team last year
They were tough out.
was
late.
really good
Back to
late.
back top 25 wins in the year.
They were good late, and Verge was unguardable at times late last year. So I don't go too hard.
But again,
on
it
those
was too
guys.
little too late.
Yeah, it was.
They figured it out a lot earlier this year,
Yeah.
and now they're in a situation where they're playing for something.